At Pirate Academy, the fruit reading exam decided futures. For Naoki, it was a quarterly ritual of public shame. Instructor Vex slammed a scroll onto the desk. "Read it. Or are you too stupid to even try?" The scoff stung like a whip.
Every line twists. The ink runs backward the moment I focus. I can't. Why can't? Why can't I just read it?
Naoki fumbled, his pale fingers trembling. The silent struggle only fed the snickers behind him. Vex tore it away. "Hopeless? You'll drown before you touch a real fruit." He threw the scroll like trash. The class dispersed, whispers dying into the courtyard. Naoki remained seated, alone with the discarded fruit scroll.
They call me defective. But this scroll, it's still a devil fruit. One of the real ones. And it's mine now.
He knelt and picked it up, fingers closing around the worn parchment, as if it were a secret weapon.
I don't know how yet, but I won't let their words chain me. This scroll is the first step.
He slipped the scroll into his charcoal jacket, the reversed runes on his cuffs nearly glowing in the dim light. The first secret of many. That night, Naoki locked himself in the library. The stolen scroll lay unrolled, characters still writhing backwards under his stare.
It's no use. The letters flip like a mirror. But if I follow the reverse track, it almost reads as a name.
He whispered the syllables backward. The scroll shuddered, and a thread of white gold light bled from the parchment onto his skin.
That wasn't rejection. It was an answer. Reading backward isn't a failure. It's a command.
Before dawn, he slipped into the archive. Shelves of unclaimed fruits, forgotten, weak, waited like unlocked cells. He chose the jitter fruit. He read the name in reverse. The scroll convulsed, and a shivering warmth prickled through his limbs. Speed boiled in his veins.
I just stole a devil fruit power. This isn't a disability. This is theft. If anyone finds out, I am dead.
He tested his new speed in the narrow aisles, a flicker of motion silent as a ghost. The power was real, and it fed a quiet hunger.
No one will believe it. They'll hang me for stealing fruit souls. I have to bury this, but I can't stop now.
By sunrise, Naoki walked among the other cadets, a thief hidden in plain sight. His curse had just become a silent rebellion. Days passed. Naoki moved through drills and lectures like a ghost, every heartbeat of fear that someone would see through him.
Attention, cadets. The final exam duel will determine your Pirate Academy standing. Naoki will face Kazuya.
Laughter erupted, the weakest reader in the academy against the star who wielded flames. It felt like a public execution.
Don't waste my time. Back row scum. For fate now, and I'll let you walk away without the burn marks.
He's right by their rules. But I am not the same failure who fumbled that exam. If I step back now, I am dead anyway.
A forfeit would be prudent, Naoki. Your record doesn't need another stain. The council is already watching.
Naoki didn't answer. He turned and walked into the stone arena, the runic barriers humming to life around him. The crowd hushed in disbelief. Kazuya vaulted into the ring opposite him, flames already licking his shoulders. The contrast was absurd. Incandescence against the Academy's ghost.
You really want to be a lesson? Fine. I'll make sure no one forgets what happens to cripples who step up.
He has no idea. The scroll is still in my jacket. If I have to, I'll read it. And then we'll see whose lesson this is.
The signal barely faded. Kazuya lunged, a roaring fireball tearing toward Naoki's chest. He dodged, but the edge seared his sleeve. The next blast forced him against the barrier, smoke choking his lungs. Kazuya's grin widened. This wasn't a duel, it was target practice.
Still think you belong here? I'll make sure the medics need tweezers to pick you up.
Naoki's hand went to his jacket, fingers brushing the scroll. Not planned, instinct. He ripped it out and held it up like a shield.
The words are still backward. I can read them. Right now.
The flame struck the parchment. But instead of ash, a white gold light burst from the scroll. The syllables he screamed were not the name written forward. Kazuya's fire wrenched from his soul. Flames erupted from Naoki's palm, raw and untamed. The arena stone cracked from the heat that had no master.
What did you do? My fire. I can't feel it. Give it back.
Kazuya fell to his knees, chest heaving, his once glowing eyes dull. In the stunned silence, only the crackle of Naoki's stolen fire spoke. On the platform, Headmistress Megumi leaned forward, her violet eyes no longer cold, but sharp with a dangerous curiosity. The duel dissolved into chaos. Medics carried Kazuya away. Naoki, still breathing smoke, was summoned to the headmistress's office.
Explain what happened in that arena, and do not tell me it was luck.
The scroll, it was defective. I think it was a failed fruit from the archives. I picked it up weeks ago.
A defective scroll doesn't strip a powerful fruit from its user. You are hiding something, Naoki.
I don't know what happened. Maybe it reacted to my reading issue. I've always been strange.
Megumi's fingers drummed the desk. She had no proof, yet, but the seed of suspicion burrowed deeper than any fruit.
She didn't believe me, but she can't prove anything. And that power, I can still feel it. The fire is alive.
That night, he returned to the archive. The registry listed every fruit, claimed and unclaimed. He began to read them backward, one by one. A new power settled in his bones with each scroll. Strength, stealth, a whisper of water. The Academy's arsenal became his silent buffet.
I'll take every power I need. Then I'll walk out of here, and they won't be able to stop me. Not Megumi, not the council.
Naoki moved through the faculty wing like a shadow. In a locked office, he found Instructor Vern's private scroll, the Iron Shroud Fruit. He whispered the reverse name. Cold metal prickled under his skin, another stolen ability locked into his arsenal. By day, he played the cripple. In combat drills, he stumbled, let hits land, and never used a whisper of his new powers.
You are not what they say. I've watched you. There's something behind your eyes. You are hiding just like me.
And what exactly do you think you see? I am just the Academy's worst reader. Nothing more.
I am a misfit too. They don't know who I really am, and if they did, I'd be chained. We're not so different.
She's hiding nobility. Trust could be poison, but maybe an ally who understands secret lives is worth the risk. Fine. We can watch each other's backs. But don't ask something I can't give.
Yuria nodded. For the first time, Naoki walked beside someone who didn't treat him as broken, and that made him both stronger and infinitely more exposed.
One slip, and she'll see everything. But maybe, for the first time, I don't have to be completely alone.
Megumi called Naoki back to her office. This time, no pretense of routine inquiry. The air was thinner.
I've cross-referenced the archive logs. Fruits are vanishing. Abilities among the faculty are weakening. Your duel was no fluke. It was theft.
You think I could steal powers with my reading disability? The Academy branded me hopeless. This is desperation, not evidence.
I have no proof yet, but consider this. You are under official surveillance. One misstep, and the council will decide your fate.
Naoki left the office with a target painted on his back. In the gardens that evening, he accidentally let his stolen iron skin shimmer.
That's not a natural ability, Naoki. You took it. Kazuya, the archives, all of it. How?
She saw. Lie now. And I lose her forever. Or trust her with the one thing that could hang me. I can steal devil fruit powers by reading the names backward. It's my curse, or my weapon. Choose which side you are on.
I won't turn you in. My family's legacy was stolen centuries ago. We were branded sea heretics. If you are fighting the same monsters, I am with you.
That night, they became true allies, each holding the other's secret like a blade. But Megumi's surveillance had already tightened around them. Within a week, the Academy cracked open. Instructors collapsed mid-lecture. Kazuya never regained his fire. Half the staff were fruit-sick.
The pattern is undeniable. He's draining every fruit in this academy. I'll inform the Mage Council tonight.
Naoki, She sent a hawk courier east. The council will be here within days. We have to run. Now.
I have enough power to break us out. But if I use it openly, they'll declare me a monster across every sea.
They prepared to flee at midnight, cloaks packed, a stolen skiff moored in the cove. But the Academy's lockdown triggered before sunset. At dawn, a Grand Council war vessel anchored on the Academy shore. Violet robes disembarked behind Council Elder Zeph, his gray eyes scanning the walls.
Headmistress Megumi, your report of a fruit thief is concerning. We will examine this Naoki ourselves. The sealing scroll must be prepared.
They've sealed the harbor. We're trapped. Naoki, if they test you with a powerful scroll, your ability will flare. They'll see everything.
If they force me with a sealing fruit, it won't just expose me. It'll rip open a history no one's ready for. I have to control it, or we all drown.
Council guards swept through the halls, rounding up every suspicious cadet. Naoki and Yuria were cornered in the East Dormitory by sundown. Chains rattled as Naoki was shoved into the Grand Council chamber. Yuria was forced to watch from the gallery, her lips white.
Naoki of the Shore Clan, you are charged with fruit, theft, and disruption of the natural order. How do you plead?
Plead? Ask your archivists. I can't read a word forward. You are trying a cripple for crimes impossible to commit.
Then you won't mind proving it. Touch the Master's sealing fruit. If you are innocent, the scroll will remain dormant.
Elder Zeph lifted the ancient scroll. Its seals pulsed with a light that felt older than the sea. Every soul in the chamber held its breath.
It's resonating, not with my power, but with my blood. This scroll, it remembers me.
The chamber exploded with light. Rune chains snapped from Naoki's wrists. A vision tore through the air. A clan kneeling, a council laughing, a fruit ripped from their hands. 200 years dissolved. Naoki saw his ancestors branded sea heretics, while the council claimed their fruit as a trophy.
You didn't seal evil. You stole it. This fruit belongs to my bloodline. It's always been ours.
Zeph snatched the scroll away, his face a mask of fury and terror. Blasphemy. The trial continues, but the audience had seen, and the lie was cracked. The council didn't wait. Zeph gave the signal. Guards seized Naoki and dragged him toward the execution seal carved in the chamber floor.
No more words. The sentence is death for fruit thievery. May the sea forget your name.
From the gallery, Yuria gave a sharp whistle. Her hidden allies among the crowd threw smoke pellets, and the chamber erupted in hissing gray clouds. Naoki wrenched free, chains clattering. He lunged not for the exit, but for the fallen master scroll, its glow pulsing against the haze.
If I read it fully backward, it won't just take this fruit. It'll release every stolen power back to its bloodline. The cascade might destroy me.
Naoki, do it. It's the only way to make them face what they stole.
Stop him. He'll trigger a reclamation wave. That scroll is the anchor. He'll tear the fruit system apart.
The guard captain lunged, but Naoki's eyes ignited, a furnace of gold. He began the reverse chant, voice tearing through the hall.
This isn't a curse on my eyes. It's a signature. My bloodline reclaims what was stolen. I'll pay whatever price.
The first syllable of the true name echoed. The chamber cracked. The chamber cracked. The scroll hummed with a building storm, and every stolen fruit in the world began to shudder. Naoki spoke the full reversed name, a sound no one had uttered in 2 centuries. The scroll ignited, and a golden wave erupted from his chest. Counselor Rika screamed as a silver sheen ripped from her chest. Her stolen steel weave fruit. Counselor Goro clutched his throat, his voice stolen back by the bloodline.
Impossible. Our powers, the Master Seal. It's all unraveling. What have you done, boy?
The stolen powers soared through the shattered windows, across the seas, to every descendant who carried the clan's reversed rune in their blood.
It's not theft when you are taking back what was stolen. This disability, it was the key my bloodline left behind.
Elder Zeph collapsed, his violet robes drained of color. The council lay groaning, stripped of every fruit they had hoarded for centuries.
Naoki, you didn't just save yourself. You gave back what they stole from my family too. The sea will remember this.
They called me cursed, but it was their curse. The seal of thieves. My eyes only read what belongs to us.
Far across the seas, pirates and villagers suddenly gasped as long dormant abilities ignited in their blood. The reclaimed power had finally found its heirs. Naoki stood in the wreckage, not as a fruit thief, but as the last reclaimer, the one who could read the backwards truth of the world. The academy gates stood open. No guards dared block their path. Naoki and Yuria walked past the rubble, toward the waiting sea.
No more chains, no more titles, just the sea and whatever we choose to be.
Naoki pulled a worn wooden emblem from his jacket, the reversed rune of his clan now glowing with a steady golden light.
This was never a curse. It was a key left for me. The last lock to open.
They boarded the skiff together. Yuria took the tiller, and Naoki raised the sail with a flick of his hand, the wind obeying without command.
You know, for someone who couldn't read a single test, you just rewrote history. Not bad, Reclaimer.
The only test that mattered was reading the truth backwards, and it was written in my blood all along.
The sun broke fully over the waves, spilling gold across the water. For the first time, Naoki's eyes held no shadow, only forward.
The sea is wide. The stolen fruits are home. Whatever comes next, I am no longer a thief. I am the one who reads what was lost.
The ship sailed east. Behind them, the academy faded into legend. Ahead lay a horizon no council could seal. The skiff cut through gentle waves, but the golden crest pinned to Naoki's chest began to pulse, hot, insistent, like a second heartbeat.
This isn't just warmth, it's a warning. The scroll's echo. It left something behind.
Naoki, you've gone pale. What did the crest show you?
A rush of visions flooded him. Not his ancestors' memory, but the scroll's original purpose. It wasn't just a stolen treasure. It was a lock.
They hoarded it as a weapon, but the council were fools. That scroll was keeping something sealed beneath the sea.
A seal? You mean the master fruit wasn't the end? It was a door? What have we unleashed?
The vision peeled back, a chasm beneath the sea, ancient and hungry. The scroll's true name was not a weapon, it was a covenant, and it was breaking.
I reclaimed our bloodline, but I also shattered the only thing holding back a deeper corruption. We didn't just win, we inherited a debt.
The crest dimmed to a soft amber, but the weight in Naoki's chest did not lift. The ocean beneath them suddenly felt deeper and darker.
They stole our power and called us heretics, but the real heretic was a council that turned a prison into a throne. Now we have to fix it.
The sea around them darkened, the calm surface suddenly glassy. From the depths, a low groan rolled upward like a giant waking.
Naoki, below us. The water is pulling inward, like a whirlpool forming directly under the ship.
The skiff lurched. Naoki grabbed the mast, the crest blazing against his chest. He saw it, a yawning chasm, ancient runes cracking along its rim.
It's the seal, breaking fully. Whatever was locked down, there is rising, and it's hungry.
We can outrun it. If we catch the wind, we can.
Number. The scroll gave me its last echo. There's one way to stop it. I have to read the restraint name backward. But it requires a vessel. A sacrifice.
You mean yourself? Naoki, you can't.
I've carried stolen powers, reclaimed my blood. If I don't, every returned fruit might be swallowed by this thing. I have to be the lock.
He touched Yuria's cheek briefly, then pulled the master scroll from his jacket. Its reversed runes ignited once more, hungry for a reader.
Get the skiff clear. Don't look back. This is the price of reclaiming what was ours.
Naoki lifted the master scroll, its backward runes igniting in sequence. The restraint name spilled from his lips like a burning chain.
Naoki, no, there has to be another way. Don't you dare leave me.
The reversed runes on his cuffs flared white-hot, searing through his jacket. The crest on his chest pulsed in rhythm with the chasm. A ghost voice echoed not from Naoki, but through him, the first reclaimer, speaking the Covenant's cost.
The debt was always mine. Not a curse, a promise. I seal the rift with my bloodline's name.
The runes on the seabed mended with each syllable, but Naoki's form turned translucent, the golden light eating through his outline.
You stubborn fool. You can't just become a legend. Come back.
Yuria, tell them the truth. The sea belongs to no council. Live free.
The vortex collapsed. The ocean flattened to glass. Where Naoki stood, only the wooden crest floated, its glow a soft, steady heartbeat.
You idiot. You didn't die. You became the seal. And I'll make sure the world remembers.
The crest throbbed in Yuria's palm, warmer than flesh. Faint whispers, the voices of the newly freed fruits, called across the waters.
I can feel them. Every power you returned, Naoki. They're alive and they need a voice.
On the eastern horizon, a dark mast line rose, a ship flying no flag. Not council, not pirate. Something older.
Whoever they are, they sensed the seal breaking. Naoki gave his life to close it. I won't let them tear it open again.
She lashed the crest to the skiff's prow, its glow painting a golden path on the water. The ship turned toward the unknown, riding the whisper winds.
You said live free. I'll live, and I'll fight for every descendant who just got their power back.
Behind her, the water where Naoki vanished shimmered once, a reflection of his smirk, then gone. But the gold in the water remained.
I am not a princess anymore. I am the keeper of the Reclaimer's promise, and the council wasn't the only enemy.
The distant ship's sails snapped taut. Whatever it was coming. Yuria tightened her grip on the tiller and sailed to meet it.
You taught me to read the truth backwards. Now I'll write our foreword.
The dark ship halted mere spans away, its hull carved with runes that matched the crest. No crew manned the deck, only shifting shadows.
Show yourselves. I hold the Reclaimer's crest. If you've come for the seal, you'll deal with me.
A voice answered, not from a throat, but from the ship's timbers themselves, resonant as a deep bell. The seal was broken by a thief. We are the keepers of the deep.
Keepers of the deep. The ones who forged the covenant. If they're here, the seal isn't just breaking, it's already failing.
A figure coalesced on the ship's bow, cloaked in seafoam and shadow, its features indistinct. The true covenant cannot be held by a single sacrifice. It requires a living anchor.
Naoki gave his life to close it. What more could you want? Another bloodline to bleed.
The figure gestured, and the crest wrenched forward, yanking Yuria to the edge. You carry his will. That will can be the anchor, but it must be freely given.
If I refuse, the rift swallows everything Naoki reclaimed. If I agree, I might never see the surface again. This is my test. I'll do it. I'll anchor the seal, but you'll swear on the old covenant. Every freed descendant stays safe, and the world learns who the real thieves were.
The figure extended a hand, not of flesh, but of water and light. The crest flared, and the ritual began, binding Yuria to the deep. The light did not burn. It filled Yuria, and the crest sank into her chest like a key into a lock. The pain of 2 centuries closed.
Naoki, we did it. The rift is sealed. I'll stand watch so you don't have to be alone.
The chasm below stitched shut, runes blazing along the seabed like a golden scar. The hungry groan faded into a hum, and the ocean exhaled. The keeper ship dissolved into mist, its duty transferred. On the surface, only the empty skiff remained, bobbing gently above the new seal. From island to island, the reclaimed fruits pulsed with warmth. Pirates and villagers who had never known their ancestors' strength suddenly felt whole. In the council wreckage, the dethroned elders lay powerless. But it was not their punishment that echoed. It was the silence. The stolen names were gone from the archives. Where the skiff floated, the crest's glow still pulsed beneath the surface, a heartbeat in the deep. The anchor was set. The sea would remember. No fanfare, no council decree. But across the seas, a name whispered on the wind. Reclaimer. The reverse runes on a forgotten academy jacket cuff shimmered once in the deep, then rested. 2 thieves had restored a world without killing a single counselor. Above, the skiff drifted toward the sunrise, pulled by a golden current that no map could chart, because it was written in the blood of the lost. Megumi climbed the cracked steps of the council chamber, her silver robes catching dust. The defeated elders stared at her with hollow eyes, and she saw only mirrors.
He wasn't a thief. He was a reckoning. And I served the thieves.
In the academy courtyard, a new decree was posted by the interim council. The reversed runes are recognized. The sea heretic families are absolved. Students stared in silence. Kazuya stood apart, his palm open and empty. No flame answered, but for the first time, he looked out at the sea without anger.
I called him a cripple, but he carried the weight of a stolen century. Maybe I was the one who couldn't see.
On a distant island, a young girl, who had never known her clan's name, lifted a mountain's shadow with a flick of her wrist. The reclamation had only begun. On the golden current, the empty skiff slowed. A voice, Yuria's now threaded with the deep's resonance, whispered through the waves, "I'll guard the seal. Tell the descendants, the way is open. Read backwards and you'll find your truth." The crest's heartbeat echoed one last time, and the skiff dissolved into light, its purpose complete. The sea was no longer a prison, it was a promise. And on the bottom of the sea, 2 rune-marked cuffs rested beside a wooden crest, forever guarding the rift that had once been a prison. The golden current faded, and the sea reclaimed its blue. But the maps had changed. New islands rose where the rift once gaped, and old names were rewritten. In coastal villages, rune-marked children walked taller. They waved at passing pirates who, for the first time, tipped their hats instead of drawing swords.
The Academy will no longer brand readers as heretics. We will teach the backward truth. It is the first lesson I should have learned.
I'll find my own path, one that isn't built on stolen fire. The Reclaimer showed me that strength isn't a fruit, it's what you give back.
The freed descendants sent gifts across the waves. Seashells carved with thanks, tiny ships with rune sails. The ocean became a network of reclaimed blood. Deep below, the crest pulsed softly, and Yuria's voice, woven into the deep, sometimes rose in a hum sailors swore brought calm to storms. No council rebuilt. The islands agreed to a new pact. The sea's power belonged to its blood, not to thrones, and the reverse rune became a symbol of truth. In the Academy archive, the blank scroll that started everything was placed in a glass case, not as a trophy, but as a reminder that every word can be read twice. And the skiff? It became a legend, said to reappear where the sea needed a reclaimer. But no one knew it already had 2. From the deep, a final whisper, half Yuria, half Naoki, swept across the water. The sea remembers. Now live. In the Academy archive, the blank scroll that started everything now sits in a glass case, lit by a single candle. New students come to trace its runes. Kazuya stands before it, no fire in his hands. He bows once, deeply, and walks out into the morning light. Megumi, in a plain gray robe, teaches a class of young pirates. The truth, she says, is rarely written forward for the powerful. On a distant shore, a child with rune-marked eyes raises a tiny wave and laughs. Her mother weeps, clutching a faded family crest. The sea carries that laugh to the deep, where the crest pulses in rhythm with Yuria's heartbeat, a steady, silent promise. Sailors say that at sunrise, 2 shadows walk the golden path beneath the water. A young man in a charcoal jacket and a princess with lavender braids. No one believes it, but they leave offerings anyway. Shells, sealed scrolls, tiny carved ships. The sea accepts them all. The skiff never returns, but its legend grows. A promise that the sea will always have a reader for the backward truth. And if you sail at dusk when the water is glass, you might see a single golden ripple and hear the whisper, "Read backwards." The end. In a small coastal school, a boy with dark, tangled hair sits before a fruit scroll, his lips moving silently. The letters refuse to settle. His teacher, a woman with gentle eyes, notices the familiar struggle. She reaches over and turns the scroll so the runes mirror. She tells him to read the name backwards. that it's not a mistake but a different kind of reading. The boy's eyes widen as the backward syllables form a word. A faint light ripples across the parchment. A tiny pulse of power, just enough to lift a pebble, dances in his palm, and the class gasps in wonder. The teacher smiles, touching a small reversed rune pin on her collar, a symbol of the new academy. No one calls the boy defective. Far beneath the waves, the wooden crest pulses once, as if in answer. The deep hums with a quiet, enduring rhythm. A whisper, carried by the deep, brushes the shore. Read backwards. The sea settles into glassy calm, the golden path just visible under the fading sun. On distant islands, more children discover their inherited powers. The reversed rune is no longer a curse, it's a promise kept by the deep. And in the deep, two shadows walk together, a young man in a charcoal jacket and a princess with lavender braids, their footsteps marked by golden ripples that never fade. The sea remembers, and the reclaimer's promise lives on. In every backward word, a child speaks,